Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back. What a freaking nightmare with macOS Ventura. So I did the upgrade from Monterey to Ventura. So basically what an upgrade does is it overlays your current OS, gives you the new OS. We saved 7.77 gigs of SSD space. And of course, at the same time, we found out it's a RAM hog and sucks up a lot more of your RAM. So if you've only got an 8 gig worth of RAM in your Mac, I would probably say don't upgrade to Ventura. Okay, unless you have one of those Macs that does qualify, that's an Intel machine where you can upgrade the RAM, well then fine. But otherwise, yeah, you're kind of screwed when it comes to the M1s and M2s. So if you bought a base level Mac, you might want to think about turning it in and custom ordering one with at least 16 gigs or more RAM. 16 gigs is actually quite comfortable. However, we have some new information for you on the whole Ventura nightmare. Now, fantastic OS, love the continuity camera, especially with the USB cable in because it never screws up. And though I am using my iPhone to cut this video, I'm not using continuity camera. But why? Well, that's because I'm not running Ventura anymore. We're going to get to that. So I ended up with some sort of glitch of some sort. I still don't know what it is. Apple can't figure it out either. I spent about 2 hours at least on the phone with a couple of different techs today because even I don't know everything, and apparently they don't hardly know anything anymore. It's not like when I was a certified Apple tech, we were actually doing board level repair, software troubleshooting. We had to know it all, right? And nowadays, yeah, they don't know anything more than the rest of the internet does, which is squat. So, with that being said, there was some helpful things. But what I want to get to is my swap space kicked in. Now, I have 16 gigs of RAM on my Mini. I'm only using up about 7 gigs, and yet swap is kicking in. And of course, me and the techs do agree at Apple that swap will never, let's just say it's never supposed to kick in until you run out of hardware memory or you're running Parallels Desktop, which automatically uses swap, okay? Those are the only 2 times swap kicks in. Otherwise, it shouldn't. Well, with Ventura, it's most certainly did. And it would be a random thing. And I couldn't even get rid of it, even quitting all my programs to release the rest of my 7 gigs I was using total, and that's with the OS and the programs running, 7 gigs. I would have to reboot my Mac to get it to disable. And then I keep an eye on my activity monitor. And all I'm doing here is watching a couple of YouTube videos, and it would kick back in again, and again, and again. And I got to reboot the computer every time. SSD drives cannot handle swap for long periods, okay? Periodic things, once in a while here and there is not going to hurt them. But all the time running is a bad idea, and it will torch your SSD inside your Mac. It'll even torch external SSDs if you're using those as boot drives. Swap is going to kill them, okay? It's just they're not made to handle swap, but whatever. That's a whole other video I can talk to you guys about on that again, because I do have a lot of info on my channel about that sort of thing. But where I was running into the problem was reloading my operating system. Now, I went and I said, okay, well, let's reload from the server, and maybe I do have a bug somewhere. Who knows, right? So it only gives me the option for Ventura initially when you start up your Mac and you press and hold the power button for, till options shows up, and you format the drive. So it says, okay, so you format, and it says, okay, I'm going to erase and restart your computer. Yes, go ahead. It reloads the computer into that screen again, but now Ventura is gone. Now you only have Monterey. So you go Monterey, and then you can upgrade to Ventura after. Piece of advice, if you are going to do it this way, keep in mind you're going to have a little bit of a problem, and that's with Rosetta won't work again, okay? You may not even be able to reload your OS, in fact, either from the server because you formatted under Ventura screen, not under the Mac Monterey screen, because like I said, we reloaded my computer at least twice on the phone, trying different things, trying to figure out, okay, what are we doing? What's going on? And, I don't know everything. They apparently don't know that much anymore as techs. So after a couple of hours of all this, we're sitting there and we're all dumbfounded going like, what the heck? Like, seriously? And I couldn't even get Monterey to load. it wouldn't talk to the server. So it's like, okay, I did get smart and I made a USB boot stick for Ventura, okay, because my Monterey one was the original Monterey that came with my computer. You cannot run backwards in the OSs, okay, so you have to have a boot stick that is current for the most current version of Monterey. Then you'd be able to reboot your Mac with Monterey. Okay, so there's some weird stuff Apple's doing with these M1s that is just, it's driving everybody mental, including myself. So anyhow, you really got to listen to this video and hang out, because you're going to need to know this info, okay? Because otherwise you're going to be just as mad, and you will not find any answers anywhere else on the net except right here, right now. So anyway, so we start reloading the computer again. Ventura, great. We got naked version, naked hard drive, formatted under Ventura. It's loaded under Ventura, pure raw unadulterated OS from Ventura, not an upgrade, okay? Rosetta will not install. It cannot connect to the server. It says check your internet connection. Okay, I'm connected to the internet. We tried disabling my Ethernet by unplugging the cable, just go off Wi-Fi, try that. And we even tried that with going to the server too. Forget it, it's not gonna happen. I can't even get Ventura off the server, okay? As far as doing a server install. It'll only install off the USB stick I made. And I'm going, oh man, is there like down servers at Apple today or something? Like I can go to the App Store, I can download my apps from there that I need to reinstall. I can go to websites, I can download stuff there. Everything else is working perfectly fine, but I just can't get Rosetta to work. And that means all my programs that require Rosetta can't fire up, right? Apple is only supporting Rosetta on the M1s until 2026, and I believe Intel's are being cut off at 2023 for Rosetta. Okay, that I found out on the internet. That also Apple concurred with. Okay, that's what's going on with Rosetta. So we only have a couple more years, well, at least 4 more years of Rosetta on the M1s and M2s, of course, whatever else comes out after. Anyway, so we couldn't get Rosetta. We couldn't get Monterey to go back either, because you're always formatting first under Ventura on the server, and then you have to reboot. It forces you. There's no getting away from it, right? And you're going under APFS, which is what you have to anyways, right? So okay, fine, we do this. That's all good to go. And it reboots and you're back to Monterey now. And it's like, try installing Monterey. Nope, doesn't work. Won't install. It's like, oh. So all this frustration, I'm like, you know what? I think we're all done for the day. I'm going to sit down and figure this out. So I got this idea, light bulb hits, wait a second. Let's go redo this computer again. Okay, we have to format under the server for Ventura. It would get us that far, and we'll format the drive. It'll reboot the computer. It forces you to. It doesn't allow you to escape the conventional way that we're all used to, which I'll get to in a second. So it reboots the computer. Now I'm back into Monterey as my only install. And I thought, okay, maybe if I reformat the drive under Monterey. Now, every time you format a Mac drive, period, to put an OS in on a naked drive, you have to show all containers and go to the top container. Okay, so we did this every time, okay? And that takes away all the bottom containers as well. These are like your macOS extras and hidden partition map stuff and everything, right? So anyways, I thought, all right, let's do it. Let's format it. And you know what? It let me format the drive. And it let me quit out of disk utility, which is something Ventura is not letting us do. Ventura is just rebooting the computer and going back to Monterey for some reason, right? So anyways, but even formatting from the USB stick under Ventura and trying to load the OS, yes, you can get the OS in, but you're not going to get access to Rosetta. It will not work, okay? We don't know why. Well, hey, it's OS 13, it's new. They have some freaking bugs they got to fix, okay? So anyways, so I redid this. I quit out after reformatting once again, but this time under the Monterey screen for the server access, right? And lo and behold, guess what? it loads the OS. I'm like, good. So now I'm back to Monterey, which I am running currently version 12.6.1. I have not bitten the friggin' apple yet to go and go back to Ventura. I love Ventura for the continuity camera, but there are some other drawbacks to Ventura you need to know about. You may get that bug with swap happening, and the only way you're going to know is to periodically fire up your activity monitor, click on memory, and see where your memory sits. So if you have 16 gigs or more in your Mac, okay, depending on the Mac you have for an M1 or an M2, check the activity monitor where it says swap space down below. It should be at 0 if you haven't used up all your RAM. If you do have usable RAM and still leftover RAM to go, and swap is on, you have an issue like I did. And what's causing it? No friggin' clue. Nobody knows. I don't even know, okay? But you must get rid of that, and the only way to get rid of that is to do what I did in the end, and that was the last thing we repeated, where I formatted under Ventura, it rebooted the computer, I reformatted under Monterey, and then I was able to get Monterey back in. Now you have an option. Couple of them. One, you can stick with Monterey for at least another probably 3 years of support with security updates and stuff to keep you going, because every time a new OS gets released, we have a certain amount of support, and then it goes straight to security updates for a few years. That's option number one, and I highly recommend you take option number one and stick it out with Monterey, especially if you only have 8 gigs of RAM in your computer, because Monterey will suck it back, Ventura will suck it back that quick. You may save 7.77 gigs of SSD drive space, but you're going to lose almost 2 more gigabytes of RAM, okay? That is crazy mental. That shouldn't be chewing up that much more RAM, but it does. Now, under a pure version of Ventura, okay, so this is loading it from a USB stick, okay, you will actually chew less RAM. And it really doesn't use up a ton of hard drive space or SSD space either. It actually uses even less SSD space putting in a raw version of Ventura. But by doing so, you lose out on Rosetta. Rosetta will not install for some reason. Now, who knows why? We don't know. Apple can't answer that question. Nobody has an answer. So if you want Rosetta and you want Ventura, you need to do what I did, got Ventura back, then you can upgrade to, or you get Monterey back, then you can upgrade to Ventura. But don't upgrade to Ventura until you have gotten Rosetta to install under Monterey. It's very important that you install Rosetta first. And the only way to do that is to have an Intel-based app. Okay, that can be anything that's Intel-based, like download the game Motorbike, or Minecraft, Island Racer. These are games that require Rosetta 2 to run, because they're not M1 certified apps as of yet, okay? Launch one of those. Even if you don't like the game, launch it, get Rosetta to fire in, and install under Monterey. Then do your Ventura update. Because I had no problems with Rosetta and Ventura together when I did the upgrade. But what I had was the problem with that swap thing. Now, my wife has the exact same Mac Mini, same configuration as mine. She's not getting any problems with swap space. So there had to be something else I may have installed that she doesn't, because we're two different people. I do music and I do videos. She does videos. She surfs the net. She plays all kinds of games from the App Store. I surf to places she never does, that sort of thing, okay? So, but I don't know what went wrong that caused swap to kick in. Nobody knows. Maybe my computer just happened to be the bug. We ordered her computer direct from Apple about a month or two, I guess, after I got mine is when I bought her hers. So who knows? Anything's freaking possible at this point. But keep an eye out on that if you're currently running the upgrade version of Ventura. But also keep in mind, if you do put the raw version of Ventura in from the website via USB stick or whatever, you're not going to get Rosetta to install. It's kind of, I don't know why, they don't know why, but for some reason, it is what it is at this point. Now, that likely is going to be fixed with the next Ventura update, probably, because right now we're at basically 13.0. So when they come out with 13.5 or 13.1 or whatever the heck they do next, maybe that bug may be cured. But for now, it's definitely a bug. Now, the other bug you're going to run into as well is with continuity camera. That is something we're all going to have to deal with, and that's the simple fact that it is not flawless under Wi-Fi. It doesn't always work under Wi-Fi like you would expect that it should. It should just automatically kick. It may the first time, might do it the second or third time, but maybe not the fourth, fifth, or sixth. And sometimes you got to reboot the computer, and then it may work or it may not work. However, I guaranteed, if you plug a USB cable into your computer and you plug the other end into your iPhone that supports the continuity, because you have to have a compatible iPhone as well, then it will work absolutely flawless for you every single time. It will find the camera, it will fire it up, you can use your phone as a webcam or what have you, no problems. Okay, I've had zero issues. Even rotating from landscape to portrait, whatever I want to do, it's flawless on USB, but very buggy on the Wi-Fi side. Okay, and I have found that sometimes it can even do frame stalling on Wi-Fi, no matter how fast your internet connection is. And we do now have a extremely fast internet out here in the country, and it is wonderful. We are loving it, which is why I do everything 1080p now or higher resolution for videos, because we can do that now. But I wanted to let you guys know about that. So, you know, remember to take the steps that if you are going to reload your computer, you're going to have a very funny experience. Okay, so that means you format it under Ventura. It reboots your computer. You can't quit out a disk copy because it just automatically does everything. Okay, once it comes up to the screen, it'll give you the choice for Monterey. You go to the disk utilities in Monterey, reformat it for the APFS. We think, possibly, me and the guys at Apple, we think that what's happening is the software side of the house at Apple has done something with the APS formatting routines between Ventura and Monterey, that could also be what's causing glitches to happen and why we can't get Rosetta back, okay, under Ventura, or why we might not even be able to install in Ventura off the web. Or if you decide, okay, well, you can't go Ventura because now it's rebooted your computer and now it took away the Ventura access, now you have only Monterey access, do not install or even attempt to install Monterey, because Monterey may or may not even go in. Okay, it actually got to the point with me it wouldn't even go in. It just crapped out and said, sorry, can't communicate with the server, right? So I reformatted, I quit out of there and I just reformatted under disk copy for the Monterey screen under APFS. And like I said, you have to show all devices, top container, reformat, and that's it. And then put Monterey back in, and then fire up any program that uses Rosetta, get Rosetta to install. There is no separate download, by the way, for Rosetta. It's automated, okay? So I looked for an installer, doesn't exist. So get that done. Then if you still want to go back to Ventura again, go for it. So until Apple works out some bugs here, it's kind of going to be an iffy thing. Right now, I'm sticking it out with Monterey for a little bit longer. Before I take the bite back in, I want to get everything back up and running again the way it was, make sure everything's going smooth before I do the Ventura update again. I love Ventura because of continuity camera, but that's all I really love about it at this point, is that, and of course it has some really neat features for the effects, but other than that, I mean, it's nothing that's, to me, is going to add more functionality to my life. And it does take you a chop. Like I said, when you do the upgrade from Monterey into Ventura, you use more RAM, and of course your hard drive space or SSD drive is still going to be up there regardless. Now here's something else interesting, and then we're out of here. when you put in a raw version of Ventura, okay, keep in mind you're not getting Rosetta, but when you put in the, not yet, maybe in the next update, it'll be fixed. But when you put in a raw version of Ventura, it uses up far less RAM, okay? It's actually under 5 gigs of RAM that it'll use. That's just to itself, okay? And it uses far, far less space on your drive. Once you get all your programs reinstalled, you're going to find you're going to get a lot more than 7.77 gigs of real estate of your drive back when you do Ventura as a raw install. Okay, so there are some benefits. This is why I don't like doing overlay updates. It's kind of handy. You get to sample it. Maybe you can go backwards, right? But there are some issues obviously here going on that I wanted to get you guys to know about. So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about all this. I think I really don't want to go to Ventura again until they get a new update out. When they get a better update out for Ventura that may fix these bugs, I'll try it and see and cross my fingers and hope it doesn't mess me over. But at least it's nice to know that we can go back to the last version of Monterey that was last done. That's reassuring that that's a good thing, because we are definitely kiboshed as far as going back to younger versions of Monterey. So, we just can't do it. It's not capable. It only allows us to do the most current that was last on the computer. Because I did try starting up from my Monterey USB stick, and it actually crapped out and said my USB stick was damaged. And it's like, no, it's not. It's fine. I've loaded that thing with Intel Max and so on. It's fine. But with the M1, when you update from the first version of Monterey and up and up and up and up, you can't go backwards ever again. You are stuck at whatever that last version was that was available to on the server for Monterey. So, which is fine. At least it's more secure than the older versions, right? But anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Got a lot of info out of it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do the best I can to answer them. And hopefully this helps a lot of you out that might be struggling with the same or similar issue that's going on. And like I said, if you only have 8 gigs of RAM in your Mac, I would advise against going to Ventura, period. Just get rid of that Mac and go buy yourself one with 16 or more gigs of RAM, because you don't want to be stuck in swap space. It's gonna burn out your SSD drive in no time. It might take a few months, it might be a few weeks, it could be upwards to a year max, but it's going to cook your SSD if you're always in swap space. Okay, this is another reason why I won't run Parallels as a Windows alternative, because number one, you got to butchery the friggin' Windows in there to begin with. You're paying for a service, not just paying for the program and that's it. You want to keep using it, you got to keep renewing the license on it, which is stupid for a program where you got to hack a bloody OS into it to get it to work. That's ridiculous. But of course, it's also ridiculous that Apple no longer has access to Boot Camp with Windows. Hopefully, maybe that'll come back someday, but don't hold your breath, because I don't think it's going to at this point. Anyways, see ya.